Welcome to The Current by TreasureCoast.com, where we discuss interesting people, places, and happenings on Florida's Treasure Coast.
Oh yeah, we're always.
Hey man, that's always good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, give them a background of who you are personally and how that brought you into Do You Give a Ruck and what you do today for the community.
So my name is Jimmy Jackson. I am the founder and president of Do You Give a Ruck, a veteran nonprofit organization that started locally in Vero Beach, and it's grown over the years into the other areas around the Treasure Coast. So we have events ranging from all the way from Fellsmere to Stewart, pretty much, trying to spread the message of helping veterans. We're a veteran nonprofit. And what we do is we're veterans helping veterans. And a little bit personally about me, I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom as an infantryman. And, I came home and I was kind of broken and wanted to connect with some other veterans and other nonprofits that were kind of localized for Global War on Terror veterans. And there wasn't really a whole lot for our generation here locally. And so I wanted to start something that would eventually grow into something bigger that would help a lot of our veterans our age or veterans that wanted to be active. So, there was a real need there, to help our local veterans with their mental health. And so we started doing weekly ruck marches at that point. And we used to do like 2 or 3 a week, and our organization kind of grew from there, and we decided to do our first event. And our first event, we raised like $5,000, and we gave it to the Veterans Council up here in Indian River County. But the real achievement that we're really proud of is we raised like over a ton of non-perishable foods and hygiene supplies and baby items, and we donated all of that to like the Treasure Coast Food Bank. And we kind of kept that tempo going on over the years. And we've been able to keep that pace going. And within, the last 5 years or so, we've been able to donate out $425,000 back to our local veterans and veteran programs. Wow. And over 30 tons of non-perishable foods and hygiene supplies, baby items and whatnot. And our original mission was to help other nonprofits. But over the years, we kind of grown a lot, and we wanted to start our own programs that were to help veterans around locally, whether they lived in Indian River, St. Lucie, Martin County. And then their resources wasn't restricted to a certain area, and we've really excelled in that. So it's been an extraordinary ride, and I've been very proud of it.
Yeah, you should be. You guys have grown substantially, and I'm sure a big part of that is the mission and your background and giving back to people in the community. What has been the growth? Because I know that you're tied in with a lot of other local business leaders. I just met with DDS for Vets, Deb Dougherty, and she had mentioned you for a little bit. What are some other, and I know Christy Hernandez was going to be with us, or Christy Romano was going to be with us. How has that been, partnering with other locals, other businesses who want to support?
Well, it's been a blessing in a lot of ways. I think that you put a lot of effort into your community and the community responds. Right. Just like our blue collar and combat boots program that we started last year. We came up with the idea or the precipice. I'm a contractor myself. I work for Apex Electric. I'm the foreman over there. And, I saw a lot, I ran into a lot of veterans that needed assistance out in the field with electrical issues, And so I was all like, well, maybe there was something that I could do about this. And I talked to Christy Romano and Paul Romano, the owners of Apex. And I was like, hey man, I'll do the work if you could just help me, with the permitting and the supplies. And they were like, we're all for that.
That's awesome.
And it kind of grew from there. I'm like, well, what if we could do this with every contractor? I was like, what if we could hit up a contractor when I run across a veteran that needs a brand new roof? And I was like, well, what if we could provide them a tax write-off See, a lot of these contractors, they give to the community in a lot of ways, and I want to make sure that they're taken care of in the end. So they provide services for the tax write-offs, and then we provide, if they need volunteers or stuff like that, we go out there and we volunteer with them. We provide all their guys with Do You Give a Ruck shirts. We feed their crews. It's a really cool experience because a lot of these veterans that you go out and help, they're there.
Right.
And so, you get the full experience. You get the veterans out there, even if they can't, I've had older veterans like, hey, man, I'm going to get up there on the roof and help. And they're like, whoa, man. I say, we're all good up here.
Right.
And so but, if you want to bring some good, some cold waters and whatnot that, take care of these guys, that'd be amazing. So, we've had a really good relationship with with All Area Roofing and Nice Roofing and Construction and Leak Buster Roofing. All three of those local contractors have worked with us to provide brand new roofs for veterans that were struggling. We're currently working on a project now. Will be our fourth roof with Leak Busters Roofing, and I'm working with Apex right now to do a meter change out for a veteran soon. And we're working with our local Home Depot, and we're also working with Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, Apex again, and the ABC contractors as well for a local remodel for a bathroom for a veteran coming up. And it's really important for that veteran because he's getting in his late 60s and whatnot. He's fixing to have back surgery. And so for Home Depot to send Rebath out there and to do a walk-in shower for this veteran instead of a tub or something like that, well, after his surgery, that's going to be, instrumental to his, health, and not only his health, but his mental health,
right.
And so, to be able to impact veterans' lives like that, whether the contractor's covering the cost totally, or Do You Give a Ruck is meeting them halfway. If they want to provide the labor, we'll provide the materials. Or Do You Give a Ruck if they need us to cover the whole thing. We work with Absolute Air up in Vero Beach and Hawk Air Mechanical over in Port St. Lucie as well. And each of them, we'll call them up and be like, hey, man, we need you to go over and do a service call for this veteran. And Do You Give a Ruck will pay for the service call fee and everything like that. So, it's been a really, really awesome program, and it's only been going on for about a year, but we've already done, I know, over $100,000 in repairs. And it's all thanks to our local community and our contractors coming together to make this happen.
Definitely. How do you find these veterans? Are they through your own circles? Do they kind of reach out to you, or is it through the companies themselves that say, hey, look, we've got a veteran we want to help. Can you kind of help be like a liaison to this, and we want to bring you in to be a part of it? Or how does that always work?
So we get hit with multiple aspects, with people reaching out to us. Sometimes it comes through organizations. Just recently, the VA reached out to us, and that's actually the Veterans House that I was just speaking of, Leak Busters working on. They reached out to us and they're like, hey, man, we know that we can't cover down on this resource, and we know you have these contacts. Can you help this veteran get a new roof, or help him at least get the repairs? Absolutely. And then sometimes, they reach out to us on Google. Our biggest following is on Facebook.
Sure.
And, we have a lot of veterans reach out to us through there, and a lot of it's word of mouth. Sometimes I get a phone call just randomly like, hey, man, I got your number through such and such, and they said that you could help me. And so, it's just multi levels of ways that you could reach out. We're on, social media, we're on Google, and, we've had a pretty big presence here in our local communities for going on, over 5 years now. And so, word of mouth gets around, when you're out doing good things in the community, people know that. And I think that people begin to trust that name and the presence, that's something that people have been able to depend on is, if you reach out to us, we're going to try to move mountains for this veteran or this veteran organization to get what they need.
Right. Yeah. I That's an awesome story with the VA reaching out to you, because that's definitely a testament to the work that you've been doing. If they're taking notice and saying, hey, look, we might not have the localized resources to fulfill this the way we want, and they say, hey, we'll bring in Do You Give a Ruck to help, with the local connections, that's a testament to what you guys have been doing.
Well, I mean, that's the way it should
Yeah,
be.
right.
If you look at the VA as a whole, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, right
Mhm.
now. But look at the VA as a whole, right? Within that system, you have limited resources, whether it's doctors, counselors, and whatnot already. But to take on construction projects or projects like, hey, this veteran needs a new set of tires, or this veteran needs some motor work or something like that. We actually have a program within DoYouGiveARuck that takes care of that as
Wow.
well. Our partners, Bobby's Auto, is up in Vero Beach. And so, they know about that. And so if they have veterans up in our area that need help, and that's a resource that they can't cover, then it speaks volumes that the VA is reaching out to
Yeah.
us. And so, I commend them on that, because they're realizing that they have a resource outside of some of their own resources within.
Right.
And we've been able to work together over the years, and it's been a great relationship between us.
Yeah.
We even did a big event with Valor Healthcare, which is a subsidiary of the VA, where we raised over $42,000 for veteran housing here and on the Treasure Coast, which that money went towards a triplex that was built in Vero Beach that is specifically designated for veterans.
Wow.
So, we're really proud of that. So
Yeah, and so that was from one fundraising event.
Yes, that's
Wow.
correct. That was the Dyer. We used to do a big event over at Dyer Chevrolet in Fort Pierce called the Dyer Veteran Barbecue
Right.
Challenge, and we really went out that year. We partnered with a national sponsor again, Valor Healthcare, and they brought some of the bigger sponsors with them, like T-Mobile and whatnot, and we were able to use those resources and whatnot to pay for a big chunk
Wow.
of that project. And
Yeah,
it's a
and so that was from
$300,000
one
project. We
fundraising
come
event.
up with almost 50,000 of it. Home Depot
Wow.
stepped in as well. They provided a ton of materials. We went out there and painted those houses at the end. We volunteered with it as well. Apex Electric
Right.
was involved in that project as well. We came in and we bid that job really low, so that they could actually have more equity into the house and, the property, since it's a triplex. And they were able to use more money towards like better cabinets and whatnot with that money.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's a big thing,
Yeah, and it's so. How do these? And I know we were going to talk about the events. Do the events that you guys do? I mean, you can talk more about them, because you guys obviously have stuff that you do on a more regular weekly basis, and there's stuff that's kind of like annual things that you kind of build up to.
Yeah.
Do they all support specific causes, or will you have a certain fundraiser? You'll say, hey, look, if we're going to do this fundraiser, is going to go towards maybe donating towards this specific fundraiser, or for this veteran who needs something for their house, or X, Y, and Z, or is that something you kind of determine as it goes? I just because I'm sure there's a lot of people who would want to support and figure out ways that they can support, and they want to know how or where they can best do that.
So, like for this upcoming event, we're specifically raising money for the Blue Collar and Combat Boots program within DoYouGiveARuck. So that way we have money on standby. So if a veteran does need assistance and whatnot, we do have the money to cover down if the contractor needs it.
Okay.
Our next one, the event that we're going to have coming up, is going to be the Port St. Lucie Vet Fest, and that's actually being hosted by the city of Port St. Lucie. But they have asked us to open up the event for them by doing a 5K ruck march, and at the end of the 5K, the event will actually kick off. And that's really cool, because the city of Port St. Lucie wants to work with us, in that aspect. But it's also important to know that we're going to get a portion of the proceeds from that day's, festival and whatnot. So, it's awesome to see that the city of Port St. Lucie really cares about our vets, and they're trying to invest in programs that are giving back to their local veterans. And then after that, we're going to be doing our big 20-mile ruck march. It's Operation Shell Shock. And we've been doing that event for going on 6 years. It's a 20-mile ruck march that essentially brings awareness to PTSD and suicide awareness. And what we do is we ruck march with names of people that we lost to suicide and the people that are still fighting the good fight with PTSD. And even if they can't be with us there, they could be with us in spirit. And that's the whole idea behind it, is to bring, civilians and veterans together and to explore, the support system that's there. We're a big believer of our buddy system. In the military, we had our battle buddies. And we think that, you can meet some really amazing people out there. And even on those dark nights, there's somebody you can always call.
Right.
And so that's what that event, essentially the essence of that event and what it brings to our community every year. And, last year we had over 150 people attend that. And it was it's really a spiritual event. Like, you have to just do it. And then after that, we just, we're going to our fall events. Traditionally, we do like a big barbecue thing, and then we do like an offshoot event, and then we do Operation Ruckmas, which has always been one of our big signature events. We always want to take care of the local kids that are, struggling and whatnot. So we team up with Toys and Tots, Boys and Girls Club, St. Lucie County, the PALS, not PALS, but the Fort Pierce, Courageous Kids program, and the Hibiscus House. And so we raise up a bunch of toys and supplies for teens. And we also raise supplies for seniors as well. And we donate it to nursing homes, and we donate it to the kids and whatnot. And so, we have a lot of different events throughout the year that people would love to be, to participate in, like the upcoming one, Battle of the Branches, where we're putting all the branches against each other to see who's the better branch. So far, the Navy's won 2 years, and believe it or not, the Coast Guard has won back-to-back, and they're trying to come out again this year to take a three-peat. So, and I'm an Army guy. It was my event. I created it. It's just wild. So this year we're bringing it to Fort Pierce, and we're really excited about that because we're partnering with the Navy SEAL Museum. And so essentially the event, you'll sign into the event, and then you'll go out to the beach, and then you'll have to do a 2 mile. It's not really a run, but it's a ruck. You'll be carrying a pack, and then you'll have to hit like different stations and whatnot, and then turn around and come back. And then you'll have to run the Navy SEAL obstacle course run, and then perform what we call a stress fire. It's basically an exercise in the military when your body's at muscle failure, and they teach you how to, shoot targets while you're still at muscle failure. So we'll have some airsoft guns out there, and we'll have like a little backer back there with some targets. So when people come up, they'll be able to do that, and then they'll have to move to the finish line. So, it's been a really amazing event that we've been doing for the last, 4 years with this one. And we're hopefully, going to have Battle of the Brews back out there, where we get local breweries come out to donate beer for free. And then people are able to vote and see which one that they like is the best beer. And then, we give them a cup. And then the breweries can also run the obstacle course against each other to see who has the fastest team. And then we also include JROTC programs out there as well. We got a lot of recruiting stations coming out. I know the U.S. Army recruiting, the Navy recruiting, and the Marines have already committed to it. I know the Coast Guard's coming out, so you got 5 branches right there coming out to compete. Air Force is coming too. That's what I hear. But it's just a really amazing event. We get a stage out there. You get a DJ. We get a live, national anthem singer, and it's just a day of a really camaraderie and trying to push that limit. Like, hey man, Army's better than Navy,
right,
and explore that rivalry, and so it's always been a great event for our local veterans to attend. And when people come out and they attend these events, I think they're kind of shocked But, you know, I mean, that's the amazing part of this is when people find out about this organization and what we're doing at these events, it's kind of mind blowing. You know, what other veteran organization out there is doing pugil stick fighting at their
Right,
event?
right.
So,
No,
I
you're
mean,
you're right. It is a different animal. I mean, not just in what you guys are doing, like with the events and stuff like that, but I think the like the impact that you're having on the Treasure Coast area is something that you should definitely be proud of. And I think you're right. It's a testament again to like Port St. Lucie wanting to be part of it. You've got recruiters coming out to these events where it's almost like it's almost like full circle, you know?
that's right. Well, you know, the veterans make up a lot of the big portion of our population around here.
Right.
Florida has a huge population of veterans, but even with that, you know, aspect, I think that, you know, people are finding it difficult to connect with other veterans, and I think that people that come out to our events and you know, they meet other veterans and they're exposed to this environment that a lot of them haven't been exposed to since the military. And that's what we're basically about. You know, we want to be like the military in a lot of ways. We don't want to do politics, special interests. You know, we don't want to get tied up in a lot of different things. The only thing that we're focused on is the mission. The mission is the only thing that matters, is what can we do to better our community and help our veterans at the same time.
Right.
And I think that gives a lot of people purpose, you know, when you set aside your differences and you focus on a common goal. And that's what the military did. And essentially we're following that model, you know, whether it's when a hurricane hits and people need help out in the community and we respond, you know, like we did this last hurricane, or, you know, when COVID, you know, we were there helping pass out supplies during COVID to, you know, families, and we delivered the food to people that were, you know, afraid to leave their houses because they were immune compromised and whatnot. So I think that, you know, as veterans, we take more than just a role of, you know, just an average person or average citizen. I think, you know, a lot of us feel compelled to keep serving, even in some dire situations, you know. And I think the veterans are really, you know, really capable of doing those kind of things because the environment and the military training that we have, you know, the biggest thing that you remember is improvise, adapt, and overcome. So, you know, I think that a lot of veterans, when stuff like that happens, you know, we're really fluid and we can work together and accomplish great things.
Yeah, that makes sense. That you've got the tools, just bringing them into like a real world setting where you're kind of accomplishing a mission in a different way. Do you are there any aspects that you want to go into or that you want to branch, that you want to build the branches of what you're doing right now? I guess I ask because I'm thinking if there are businesses who might see this that offer other services and they might say, hey, look, he's working with some great electricians, roofers, AC companies. He's doing the contractor thing. Are there other things that you want to branch out to that somebody might be listening to this and say, hey, look, I'd love to play a part. I'd love to invest some of our time, money, expertise into helping local veterans?
So the biggest thing that I would like to really delve into is, you know, number one, veteran mental health. One of the biggest things that veterans struggle with is getting in to see a counselor because they get told that they have to wait a month at a time or whatnot. So, you know, maybe telehealth or, you know, some way that veterans can be facilitated, whether it's, you know, 2 or 3 times out of the month, you know, where somebody can go over there, you know, and see somebody when they have time, even if it's 15 to a 30-minute session. I think that there's a lot of veterans out there that struggle with dental. You know, I think if you're not 100% service connected or total and permanent, you know, you don't get dental. And so if you're only at 90%, I mean, a lot of that money is going towards your mortgage. So if you don't have a job that has dental, you know, you're struggling there. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we could be out here doing to help our local veterans. You know, I want to be able to do as much as we can and work with as many people as we can to establish programs here on the Treasure Coast, because we're severely lacking in a lot of areas. I mean, you know, whether it comes from housing and whatnot, I think that we could all come together and collaborate to really change that aspect here in the Treasure Coast. We could be like West Palm. We could be like Orlando with our resources for vets,
Yeah.
And eventually that's what I would like to get to.
Yeah. So where can people, I mean, because when we publish this, we'll put links to your website and your Facebook, which is your largest channel, and where people can see the events. What is the best way for people if they want to learn more about you otherwise, or if they want to get in touch and be a part of it? Is it through the website and Facebook?
Yeah. So we're on Instagram. We're on TikTok and a couple other social media platforms, but we originally started on Facebook. And we've just kind of been, that's our largest platform. We got, I think it's near 6,000 or 7,000 followers now. And I know that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but if you think about it, we're not puppies, we're not kittens, we're not kids, we're veterans.
Right.
And we're a small veteran organization. So to have a following like that, that's tremendous. And so, but that's our main platform is, Facebook, and you could definitely reach us on our website. It's just been renovated. It's all brand new. It's got all of our sponsors and all the amazing things that we've been doing on there. And, it's going to keep getting updated as long as we keep going. And we have a pretty big following in that aspect that, we get a lot of traffic on our website.
Okay. What would you say to local veterans who are listening to what you're saying and might want to be a part, or say, hey, look, I could use some help, or they want to in some way be involved? I'm sure that you talk to those kind of people on a daily basis.
So I think the biggest misconception about this organization is you have to ruck to be part of it. And that's not true. A veteran that lost his arm or his leg, that's sitting at home in his head all day, every day, that's looking for a purpose or a mission, that guy's worth gold to me. Send me that broken veteran. I will give him a mission and a purpose where he can go out and help other veterans. And that's what it's really about, is helping our other veterans, because I think that gives you a simple purpose and accomplishment. If you got a veteran that's suicidal or needs help, and you can respond to that veteran to make a difference in that veteran's life, whether it's just picking up the phone or taking them to as a VA appointment, or, taking them to one of our ruck marches. There's a lot of things within this organization veterans could do, from fundraising to veteran crisis intervention. We need volunteers always for our events and to help with projects. Even on the social media aspect of it, we're not social media gurus. A lot of us are, older vets now, I guess you would say. I get, it's global war and terror veterans are getting into our 40s now. And so we're not as savvy, on a lot of the technology that's out today. So, social media, that's a big driving forward with advertisement and the growth of your business now. So we kind of really struggle in that department. We've been trying to, bolster that this year, and bolster our numbers as well, so we can do more.
Right.
So I think a lot of people are worried just because, they were injured or they have a disability or something like that, that they don't have a purpose within this organization, but they're wrong. Everybody has a place and a purpose within this organization. All you got to do is just show up. That's half the battle.
Yeah, that's powerful. I think that's an awesome message to put forward, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of people, especially as the events go on and as more of these events come out, as you guys continue to grow, that'll just keep growing, especially here on the Treasure Coast, but I'm sure, abroad or beyond where we're at. What do you think? Is there anything else is there anything we didn't touch on? I know we kind of briefed a few things. Is there anything else you want to say before we?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's catching all the wide strokes of everything. I don't feel like I messed up too bad. I didn't curse or anything like that. So.
No, that was awesome. And we'll put a link. So if anybody...
That's a wrap for this episode of The Current by TreasureCoast.com. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Follow us on social media or visit TreasureCoast.com for local events, tips, and news. Have a guest or topic you'd love to hear on the show? let us know at treasurecoast.com. Until next time, keep riding the current and enjoying everything the Treasure Coast has to offer. See you soon.